Good morning, everyone. It's Lee Henson, President and Founder of AgileDad, and it's time for today's episode of the Daily Stand-Up. So without any further ado, let's get started. It's Tuesday, and we're continuing our three-part section on the top 6 techniques every Scrum Master and coach should attempt to perfect. Now, in part 1, I know we reviewed introducing your battle scars and what that meant to you and the team, and how to deeply understand the needs of individuals and teams. So today, I want to continue with the next 2 principles. The third one is probably one of my favorites. So the third principle talks about asking powerful questions, asking better questions, asking the right questions. I think that often one of the things that we do, and this is a perfect example, is we ask a question and we get an answer when we really wanted to ask a different question. So let me explain. A lot of times as leadership, we might ask, when is this going to be completed? Or, how long, or better yet, instead of asking when is this going to be completed, you ask, how long is this going to take? And I think that a lot of times when you ask how long something's going to take, that gives the impression to the teams that you're measuring or micromanaging time, that you're trying to ask them for some type of time-based calculation. When instead, what you're really trying to say, or at least the interpretation of what you're really trying to say, is when should I expect to see this? Is this something that's going to be done in the next sprint, or is it 2 sprints out, or how far out is it? When are we going to see some action item here? And the truth is, when different people work on things, it takes a different amount of time. So the question of how long is it going to take is a fallacy in itself, right? So once we understand that, I think we need to ask ourselves, what are the right questions? And are we asking the right questions? And I think there's a couple of different phases of asking questions, sort of like when Tuckman said there's forming, storming, norming, performing, right? I think the right questions go into those buckets as well. So when you're forming, you might be asking questions to get to know the team. What are the things that you love the most about what you do? What are the things that frustrate you? The 3 big questions, right? If you weren't doing this, what would you rather be doing? Those type of things to help make sure that you're helping the team build relationships with you and build relationships with each other. When they get into storming, you want to start asking questions like, why might this be the case? What can we do to resolve the issue? So you want to start asking the probing questions that are open-ended and powerful, that have deep meaning, that are going to cause the team to sit back and reflect and have that true reflection. During norming, you might want to ask, what are some things that we can do to take it up to the next level? What are some things that we can do to work even better together, right? Because once they're norming, they're starting to work well together, but you just want to accelerate it. And then once they're performing, then you turn into the true servant leader. What is it that I can do to make your life better? What is it that I can do to help make this work environment even better than it was before? What can we do? And I think that if you ask all those questions, you're in good shape. I think as a product owner, when you're doing surveying to find out requirements, or when you're doing interviews, I think it's important to make sure you're asking the right questions there as well, for obvious reasons, to make sure that we're building the right thing. And this is a huge gap, in my opinion. I think that sometimes we don't take the time to really understand the needs of stakeholders. We don't take time to ask the right questions, and it comes back to bite us in the end. And the next one for today, the last one for today, number 4, is to prepare what is needed. Now, this is interesting. When I say prepare what is needed, you have to assess everything that's happened, all the information that you've received, and you need to prepare what the team needs or what the individual needs to help them be successful. It's almost as if, a lot of people who've taken my class have heard me say that the Scrum Master is a lot like a doctor. This is the part where you're almost preparing the prescription, you're preparing the ingredients, it's almost like you're gathering a recipe, and you got to make sure you prepare all the ingredients correctly for the recipe to turn out the way that you'd like. So it's one of these things where, are you really preparing? Are you preparing yourself? Are you preparing your team? Are you preparing to have all the pieces that you need to be successful? And I can say with confidence that, a lot of organizations don't focus on the preparation piece at all because they're agile. We'll do it in a moment. And I get it, right? But anyone who says that Agile comes with 0 preparation is not right. Agile definitely requires some degree of preparation. It does require you to think forward. It requires you to be more open and to have an open mindset. And I think that sometimes we don't take those things into consideration. So if you're trying to be a good Scrum Master, a good coach, I think you need to introduce your battle wounds, have a story to tell. Make sure you're understanding the needs of the people around you, of the individuals and the teams and the organization. Make sure that you're asking high quality questions that are powerful questions that are open ended to allow everyone a chance to speak, and make yourself the last to speak if possible. And then, of course, prepare what is needed to have success within individuals and within a team. So hopefully that gives you a kickstart with those 4. We have 2 more left. We'll get those on Thursday. So as always, I encourage you, if you haven't listened to Wednesday's podcast, you got to start listening on Wednesdays. Wednesdays is where we feature Sarah Bierman. She's one of our premier Agile coaches. She does a fantastic job covering topics that help you attach and understand sometimes easy things and sometimes deep things. And it just helps you see things through a different lens, which I think is so incredibly important. Plus, then you get a little bit of diversity in culture, and you don't have to hear my voice every day. So, as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. I'll be back on Thursday. Until then, do take care.